Hey, it's me again. I wanted to post 2 videos today and tomorrow because I am home. I always have Tuesdays and Thursdays off from teaching, which is nice because it gives me time to go see my grandma, clean my house, do groceries, all that good stuff. But it also gives me time to focus on my YouTube videos. And today's video is a fun one since we're approaching the end of September, which is crazy, but I'm super excited about that. First day of fall is Saturday. I wanted to go ahead and start getting you guys geared up for fall and for Halloween. So today's video is actually a little bit different for me. I'm trying to think of how to say this without sounding like I'm nerd bashing. I love books. I always have, but I'm just now kind of getting back into reading thanks to Rochelle. For a long time, I was a huge reader and got my, I was one of those kids that went to the library and would check out like 13, 14 books at a time and actually like chapter books and actually read all of them. Now that I'm an adult, I find myself when I come home from school or even on my free days, by the time I've cleaned my house and stuff, I just want to kind of veg out and not really focus on anything. And so Rochelle we started a book club such that it is, and have kind of gotten back into reading. But I wanted to tell you today my favorite fall children's books. Because if there's one thing I love, my dream is actually to write a children's book or to own a children's bookstore. And I feel like if we ever monetized our YouTube videos, that's probably what the money would go towards, would probably be helping both of our grandmothers, since Marshall lives with her grandmother and I've lived with my grandmother until I got married. And probably towards the bookstore too. Not that you guys really needed to know that, but I'm getting off track. But I wanted to tell you my very favorite children's books. I was a children's librarian for 3.5 years, and that's kind of where my heart is. And I love any and all children's books and children's book authors. And so today I wanted to show you some of my favorites that are a lot of Halloween, but also some fall ones too. And I have some of the books actually to show you, and some of them I'm just going to tell you about. But the first one on my series is Bunnicula by James Howell, Howe. And Bunnicula is the story of the Monroe family, and they have 2 boys. And the boys, they're like typical brothers. They're always arguing and fighting. And what kind of bonds them together is all of their pets. They have a dog named Harold in the first book. This is the Bunnicula is actually a series. And they also have a cat named Chester. And the dogs and the cats can talk to one another, but of course the humans, don't know that they're talking. And they end up going to the movies one night, and they find a shoebox. And inside the shoebox is a rabbit. And the rabbit has the markings of a vampire. And so if your kids are into like the whole Twilight and the vampire thing, they're really going to enjoy these books. And they're really good if you get the audio series too. They're read by James Garner. And I love them. And they're just really cute books. It's kind of like a mystery series. There's The Celery Stalks at Midnight and Holiday Inn. And then actually more recently were a couple of them. There's Edgar Allan Poe, I think is the name of it. I really liked that one. And I read that one like 2 years ago, and I hadn't read a Bunnicula book probably since I was in 5th grade, and I really enjoyed it. But definitely check out that series. It's perfect if you like vampires or werewolves, and there's no like romance element or anything like there is to the Twilight. They're just silly little mysteries for kids, and they're great. And then the next one, of course, is the Goosebumps series. Who doesn't love Goosebumps by R.L. Stine? When I was little, I was a lot more, it's not like I've changed. I've always been a scaredy cat. I'm afraid of everything. I have a lot of anxiety issues, and so those books for me were kind of being like a rebel. I was going to read these when inevitably I knew that they were going to freak me out. But the Goosebumps series, and I don't remember exactly how many of them. I probably should have Googled that before I did this video, but there's a ton, and there's all different subjects. The one that scared me the most when I was little is the one about the dummy. I can't remember the name of it because I've read a gajillion of them, and there was actually a TV show based off of the book series. But if you go to your local library, which I'm a huge fan of, go to the library. Don't make that obsolete because it's all these e-readers and stuff. But can you tell? Can you tell I have a library background? But the Goosebumps series are awesome, and they're better probably for upper elementary as far as like the reading level, upper elementary and middle school, because some of them can be a little bit scary, but they're fun kind of to read with your kids. And they're one of those books that your kids are going to want to read under the covers with the flashlight. And I say just let them. That's a really good way to encourage a love of reading. But check those out because they're awesome for Halloween. And some of them are really creepy. Some of them I feel like if I read now would probably still creep me out. But the next one is Georgie the Ghost. And the Georgie the Ghost series, I cannot remember who wrote it. And who wrote it. Listen to me, I can't even talk. I shouldn't be promoting reading. Georgie the Ghost was written. I'm not exactly sure how old the books are, but I feel like they're fairly old. Don't hold me to that, though. I really wish I had my copy so I could look at the copyright date. But anyway, they're really cute, and they kind of have these old, like nostalgic type illustrations to them. They're very, just the whole style of the book is very old school looking, but it's about a little ghost who lives in a haunted house. And it's kind of like Casper, only not as cheesy. But I really like them. Georgie kind of takes care of the older people in the house that he lives with, and he oils the stairs and, you know, kind of keeps them safe. And they're just really sweet, cute little kids' books. And they're good for any age. You could read them from babies, you know, all the way up to older elementary kids. They're just super cute. And then the next one is one of my favorites, The Ugly Pumpkin. And The Ugly Pumpkin was written by Dave Horowitz. This book is hilarious. I read it to my class last year, and they thought it was just the funniest thing they ever heard. It's about a pumpkin who, oddly enough, is kind of shaped like a bone. And it tells the story of him. It's almost like an Ugly Duckling kind of story. Actually, it's pretty much exactly like Ugly Duckling. And he is mistreated by all the other pumpkins in the pumpkin patch, and they think he's a weirdo because he looks different. He's different from them and all the other pumpkins around, and he kind of goes on this little adventure to sort of find out where he fits in, and all the other pumpkins in the pumpkin patch get adopted except for him. And he ends up walking through the woods, and the trees are throwing apples at him, and the skeletons are playing jokes on him. And then in the end, I'll go ahead and tell you what happens since you'll probably read it with your kids. He finds out that he is not a pumpkin at all. He's a squash. And it's just the wording, the way it's written is just so funny. And you can tell that Dave Horowitz must have a really cute sense of humor. But kids in my class just thought it was like the funniest thing they'd ever seen. And the next one is more a fall one. This is the cutest book. It is called Pumpkin Soup. And it is about a cat, a duck, and a squirrel who live in the woods. And they have kind of a routine. You know, it's like when you live with someone for a long time. They do stuff that gets on your nerves. And they have a routine of making pumpkin soup together. And each animal has a job that they do. And the illustrations, oh my gosh, the illustrations are really, really beautiful. And then one day, one of them decides that he wants to have a different job as far as the soup making. And the other two get mad, and so he runs away. And it's about them. They're so worried. And it's talking a lot about how you shouldn't fight with your friends. And you should try to get along. And it's okay to do stuff differently once in a while. And he eventually, you know, of course they find him and things end up happy. But it's just the cutest little book. And it's a really good book to snuggle up to and read for fall. But that is Pumpkin Soup, and it is written by Helen Cooper. And then the next one is another one of my favorites, Earl the Squirrel. And Earl the Squirrel is written and illustrated by Don Freeman, who is the author of the Corduroy book series, if you like those. And it's kind of a similar style. You can definitely tell that it was the same author. But Earl the Squirrel, obviously, is about a squirrel who makes a friend that's a little girl named Jill. And Jill knits him this little red scarf. And it's just talking about him storing up his acorns for winter. And Earl is silly. He's always getting into mischief and stuff. But it's just super cute. And it's very similar. If your kids like the Corduroy series, it's very cute and a little comforting. And Earl actually runs away and try to find more acorns, and he meets all these animals on the way, and it's just super cute. So definitely check that one out. And then one I actually just purchased recently that I think I'm going to add to my favorites is called The Skeleton and the Mummy. And this is a remake of Little Red Riding Hood. And it's so cute because the skeleton is going through the woods to take soup to his grandmother, and he's being chased by a mummy. And it's kind of about, and this is cute because it has like all the fall leaves, and it's just really cute little illustration that I think your kids, this page especially, reminds me of fall time, but your kids will like it. And he ends up kind of getting in a fight with the skeleton, and he realizes that it's just his friend dressed up like a mummy for Halloween, and it's actually just another skeleton. So it's cute. And if your kids are into fairy tales and Red Riding Hood and stuff, they're really gonna like that one. And then I have just a few more. One of the other ones is called The Halloweener, and it's actually in my classroom right now, so I don't have it with me. I don't know the author, but it's Halloweener, and it's about a little dachshund, and his mom is his mom is very overbearing and makes him wear all these cutesy little costumes. And she wants him to dress up like a hot dog, of course, because if you have a dachshund, why wouldn't you dress it up like a hot dog? And he's super embarrassed, and his friends make fun of him a lot. And so it actually ends up that he saves one of them from drowning, and they end up calling him a hero sandwich. So it's just super cute, and it's kind of along the same lines as The Ugly Pumpkin, just silly, kind of slapstick humor, and it's just really fun. And then one of the other ones, one of my favorite authors of all time is Roald Dahl. And actually Roald Dahl Day was fairly recently. I feel like it was maybe the week before last. But one of his most famous books is The Witches, which was also made into a movie where Angelica Houston stars as the Grand High Witch. But it's about a little boy named Luke and his grandmother, and it's actually kind of it's one of his more sad, more dark kind of stories. But it tells the tale of Luke and his grandmother, and Luke's parents are tragically killed, and so they end up moving to England, or maybe they're from England. Move to England, they end up in Norway. I always get the locations mixed up, but they go on vacation either in England or in Norway, whatever the opposite of the one they live in. I know I'm not making a bit of sense right now. But anyway, they go on vacation to a fancy hotel, only to find out that there's a meeting of all the witches. That's right, all the witches in England are meeting there with the Grand High Witch. And Luke's grandmother has actually had some run-ins with witches. She lost a finger as a younger person to a witch, and so the whole book is telling Luke about the things he needs to avoid and look for in order not to be killed by the witches. But it's really, I feel like the movie ends a lot happier than the book. The book ends kind of a little depressing. But it's really good if your kids are into kind of like dark, twisted humor. And it's really well written. And it's perfect for Halloween with the whole witches and the snakes and everything. So I think you guys will enjoy it. But anyway, those are some of my favorite books for kids for Halloween. And let me know if you have any favorite books from childhood. I want to try to do books about school. If you guys like this, maybe I'll do some more of them. Let me know your favorite book, and especially your favorite Halloween or fall book. And I hope that you have a really good first weekend of fall. See you later. Bye.